sure I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed at my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Velas here in Sheffield. Joe Hayden joins me. Mate, good to see you. Happy New Year, of course. How's things?
All good, thank you, mate. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year.
It was right. It wasn't bad. Spent it with the family and had a few drinks and had some fun. Here to kind of, I suppose, kick off GBM's year, talk about the show coming up with Reece, Mould and Hamid Gaz. Some of the GBM fighters here as well, obviously, including yourself. But before we talk about this year, I need to reflect on last year. Ridiculously busy. I felt like you had a few fights as well where it was kind of just sprung on people like, oh, I'm fighting this weekend. You made sure you were as active as possible. So when you look back at that year, there's no way you can be disappointed with anything, I bet.
No, definitely not. And you would have never have said at the start of 2022 it would have finished how it finished. And it's unbelievable, really. And no, to say that the first 6 months I was struggling to get amateur fights, and then the last 6 months I was a 6-0 pro, one of the busiest professionals in the country. So it's crazy to even think about. I've not really had time to sit back and reflect on the year it was, or the half year it was. But now I'm really happy with how it went, and that's how I just want to pick off where we left off in 2023, busy again.
Yeah, obviously looking back now, them 6 months as a pro you would define as a success in your eyes. But taking it back to the decision to turn pro when you said you couldn't even get any amateur fights, obviously not regretting that now, but at the time, I can imagine that was kind of, I know we spoke about it before, but that must have been a big point in your year. Can't get amateur fights, kind of a little bit 50-50, and then just turning pro, looking back on what was a massive, massive decision now.
Yeah, and to start off with, obviously I was excited to turn pro because this is why we do it. We do it to become professional fighters, and it was an exciting time, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'd always think to myself, is it too soon? Obviously, I haven't had the fights, I haven't had the experience. How am I going to cope in the pro ranks? Obviously,
Did you think about failure? Because I know some people say it's not even something that crosses my mind, failure or whatever. Did you think about, this could actually go wrong for me, this decision?
Yeah, of course, and obviously, like I said, with the lack of experience in that, there were always that lingering doubt, and I've never really, with only 4 or 5 amateur fights I had with Dave, I never experienced true like what it's like to be under the lights in front of a big crowd, like fighting as a pro. But no, I think my first 2 or 3 fights, I proved that I will be able to cope under the pressures and in the pro ranks, and then that's where we really kicked off, and it proved points to Dave, like the lingering doubts that we both had, really, what could potentially go wrong or whatever, that I can handle it, and here we are now.
Of course, just having 1 professional fight is a big thing, so to have 6 in that space of time, I know you wouldn't have overlooked any of them or taken any for granted, but is that something you kind of have to think about? Because I suppose as a pro, when you're having these learning fights, they can just kind of come and go, come and go, come and go. Next thing you know, you're 10-0. So did you kind of get to take as much as you can from all 6 of them fights?
Yeah, definitely. And each fight we're always something different as well. We're in the gym daily and we're working on new things, and with each opponent, each fight that we had, Dave were making sure that I had a new style, a new size. There were always something new, so I wasn't repeatedly having the same fight every fight. And I think you look back at all 6 of my opponents, all different sizes, all different styles. So it prepared me for what's to come, and that's what it's like in the gym. Every sparring session, everything's different. We're not always working on the same stuff. So I think it's good. The 6 fights I had, we've worked on all different things, and it went well.
So 6-0 in 6 months. Does that mean this time next year 18-0? Probably not.
It'd be nice. I
suppose you just want to be as active as possible, but perhaps not as active, I suppose. Perhaps have longer, more professional style, title-worthy camps, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Like obviously last year, 6 fights in 6 months. It was just basically a 6-month camp. It was just constantly in the gym. I'd fight on Friday or the Saturday. Come Monday, I'm back in the gym and I'm back on my diet. I'm back doing everything right. Like say I fight on the Friday, I've got a day or 2 to maybe let my hair down and enjoy myself a little bit, and then come Monday, that's it, I'm back on it, ready for the next fight that's coming up. But to be honest with you, I enjoyed it like that, and I liked it because it kept me focused and it kept me fully on it. It kept me in the gym constantly. Not that I wouldn't be anyway, but being like that, I think I like to be busy. I like to be fully focused on it, and it worked.
We've got to talk about you sparring Jack Catterall. Obviously, the fights you've had so far, they are fighters that you're better than, kind of like you said, just in that learning process, different styles and sizes. But getting to mix it with one of, if not the best, in his weight category. Yeah, talk to me about that. Amazing,
mate. Unbelievable experience to even be to be a thought in, like Jamie or Jack said, to come in for sparring is unbelievable. I think it was just Dave dropped Jamie a text and just said, "Have you got any sparring for Joe?" Expecting, you know, just a few rounds or something. And he said Jack, and Dave were like, "Well, we're gonna have to go and spar," and I did well, and now I'm there in his camp for Josh. So I've obviously done something right. But for me to even consider being in camps like this with people the calibre fighter that Jack is, it's unbelievable, and it just shows that the hard work it pays off. Because I've not been in the game long, and to think a year ago or 2 years ago that I'd be mixing with the likes of Jack Catterall's, it's unbelievable. So to say where I am now in such a short space of time, I'm really happy about that.
Obviously, I know you're not stupid. I know you know what it takes to get to the top of the sport. But actually stepping in the ring with Jack and doing them rounds, did it kind of click something in your mind that made you go, shit, you need to be really, really good to get to the top of this sport?
Yeah, 100%. And it clicked that you need to be on it as well. That you can't. It just proves that you can't mess about with this game because people as good as that, they'll put your lights out. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be fully on it. You've got to be fully focused and do everything properly to a T. And it just, I did that anyway. Like in my 6 months as a pro, I did everything to a T. But that just solidified it that I need to stay on it, and I just need to stick to it 100%.
Superb. One thing I've got to ask you about just finally is, of course, the ring return of Dave. Was it always one of them things that was just kind of a matter of time? I feel like he's been getting pestered about it for about 18 months now. Just a matter of time, and finally again he will step in the ring for, I don't know, phase 3 or 4 of the White Rhino.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like this time round it's different, and people probably listen to me say that and say, yeah, of course it is. But no, I genuinely feel like this time round you're going to see a different Dave, because obviously things are different in his life. He's had the kid. He's got a purpose now, for say. But obviously I see him day in, day out, and I see what he's like in the gym, and something just seems to have clicked, and it's a completely different Dave now. Like he's absolutely smashing the training. He's got his new S&C coach, John Wattham. He's smashing that, and he's always in the gym. He's training every single day. His diet's bang on. He seems to be doing everything to a T, and it seems like it's the first time he's done it. And he's a different sort of fighter now, and you can see it mentally and physically.
I mean, there's always going to be fights out there for Dave. One that's kind of gaining a little bit of traction online is him and Fabio Wardley. I think it's because the question was put to him about Fabio, and then Dave simply said, well, look, I'm too experienced. I've been around the block enough times. Obviously, Fabio is flying at the moment. Serious momentum behind him, knocking people out. But I take it you agree with Dave that he is too experienced for someone like Fabio, who even, as well as he's doing now, a relatively inexperienced amateur. I take it you kind of agree with Dave on those fronts?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing with Dave is as well, he can box. He's a really, really good boxer. But
people forget that sometimes.
Yeah, because they see him in his fights that he's had, like your Bracamonte fights and the other fights, and obviously he's just gone and bit down his gum shield and swung it out with him and stood toe to toe. But obviously seeing Dave in the gym, seeing him spar with all these top pros and that, you see how good of a boxer he really, really is. And what you forget is he's teaching us. Everything I've learned is through Dave. So obviously he knows it to teach it. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is as well as being a brilliant boxer, he's also got the punch power as well, which makes him extremely dangerous.
Just a one-word answer. Does Dave knock out Fabio Wardley?
100%.
There we go, Joe. Top man. Appreciate it.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.